Thank you so much, Tarryn, for coming along, for being part of this podcast. You've just came to New Zealand. We've placed you at the center, and we really appreciate that you've taken the time today to be a part of this session. So thanks a lot for being here.
Thank you.
So we have a list of questions for you, and we believe that these questions are very relevant for a lot of teachers who are probably going to embark on the same journey as you, who have come from South Africa and have chosen to come to New Zealand to teach. And we thought that what you've gone through in terms of your travel over here, the preparations that you've had to make, how you found a job, could really provide good insights into teachers who want to come from South Africa. So I'll start with the first question. What made you choose to come to New Zealand?
I think we did a lot of research into different countries based on the things that are very similar to South Africa. Weather, time, I would say the time that is summer, time that is winter, that we took into consideration, having two kids. With having a British passport, I could have just easily have gone to any of the British colonies.
Yes.
But that weather, I think might have been a problem for us.
Right.
I do have family that are living in Ireland.
Yep.
So I have experienced for the last year their weather online.
Yes.
And that wasn't an interest to me. So I'd say a lot.
So sunny weather is important.
Yes, sunny weather is definitely an importance. In South Africa, we always wanted to live near the beach.
Yep.
So now we're very close to the beach.
Yes. Auckland's has plenty of beaches.
Yes. And then going down to the safety and the infrastructure, the medicals, all that, it's just a lot better than what we used to.
So can I ask, what about Australia? Because wouldn't the climate, the beaches, the safety be kind of similar?
Yeah, we did consider Australia at one stage. I think that the English tests were quite hard.
They were more strict.
And more strict.
IELTS?
Yes.
Right.
I did do the IELTS to just as a test to see how far I could get. And for Australia, I was literally missing it with a 0.5 on the writing. So, and it ends up being quite a costly effect if you carry on and on and on.
Yeah.
So, Australia was a choice.
Yeah.
But I would say that because New Zealand, and I mean, Jitbug gave me an indication on Facebook when they said there was a big shortage of teachers in New Zealand.
Right.
And as soon as they said it was a big shortage, it was like our opportunity to jump in.
Yeah, no, it's crazy, the teacher shortage going on here.
Yes.
Yeah. Now that you're already teaching in an early childhood center, you probably would have noticed that already in terms of what's happening around in the early childhood profession. It's hard to find qualified registered teachers.
Yes, for sure.
No, that's good. And so tell me about the journey, your preparation coming to New Zealand. How was that like, cost-wise, emotional?
Yeah. Yeah, emotional. The process was for me, it was a daunting experience. A lot of sleepless nights. Had a lot of help from Manfredo. We did literally 2:00 in the morning, we were still busy with paperwork. A lot of people said it would take anything between 9 months and a year and a half to be able to get over here. And
you mean visa-wise?
From beginning to end.
From beginning to end. Yeah, okay. So when you first started your NZQA process.
Yes, and we started last year in August.
Okay.
So we didn't really expect 2020 to be our year. We thought we would still be busy with the process, but a lot of paperwork.
Right.
We used money a little bit more
Then you should
than
have.
we should have, I would say,
Okay.
to get police clearances to be done quicker.
Right. So you fast tracked the
So we
police
fast
clearance.
tracked quite a few of the
Yep.
situations. There was a few things that I needed for my qualification through UNISA, so therefore I also had to fast track that.
Right.
So I would say yes, it is a costly thing. So it's nice to have a little bit of a money background, and we had been saving up to pay off of our house and that. So we used that money. Basically, the kids' birth certificates, our birth certificates, marriage certificates, all that had to be unabridged. We had to get that done. It's a timely thing. So there's a lot of things that you have to do beforehand and then wait. So it's a waiting game. Visas went extremely quickly for us. We applied for them on the 19th of December, and by the 30th we had our approval. So it really went, it really went very, very quickly.
Yeah.
And they were literally just waiting for our passport verification to be done, which we needed appointment for. So I would say the most expensive part of the whole thing is our tickets to fly here. With having two small kids, we decided to go the more expensive route and fly direct. So we used
no stopovers.
Yeah, well, there is one stopover, but it was very short.
Okay.
The cheaper flights are anything between 23 and 28 hours, whereas we went with the more expensive flight, which was the long flight first and then the short flight second. And that was only 16 and a half hours in the end. Yeah.
Okay.
With having the two kids.
Yeah, you thought that would be better shave off about 7 or 8 hours.
Yeah. So,
but it costed a bit more.
Yeah. So it did cost quite a bit more. But our experience with Qantas was very good. So we can't complain with that.
Okay, so basically you started the process of coming to New Zealand in August last year.
Yes.
And you got a job by February.
I got my...
Started your first job on
I started on the 3rd of February, yes.
3rd of February, eh? So that would be roughly about 5-6 months.
Yeah,
which is pretty quick. So you did fast track whatever you could, I suppose.
Yes, I fast tracked quite a lot of things, yes.
Yeah.
And a lot of sleepless nights.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, and we start talking at the end of November, right?
Yes.
That's when. But when you actually came up to me, you had already applied for your IQA, so you had already done some of the preparation before we start working together, right?
Yeah.
But pretty much after we start working together, about about 2 weeks, you actually got your job offer, and then the visa took less than 2 weeks as well, right? At a time when you expect some delay because it's the end of the year, the holiday season, even though it moved out quickly, right?
Yeah, it did extremely.
No, but
quickly.
I think I personally think one of the reasons why you got your visa quite quickly was because you worked quite quickly in terms of getting her a job offer, and you had already been quite advanced in your journey of getting all the paperwork, and you're quite meticulous in getting as much of what they required on application. So you just submitted it, and there was very little questions that they needed to ask, and you had already had a job offer, and so it was, for them, was just like tick 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 tick. It's just like, I have no questions, I have no problems. Why I shouldn't grant her a visa? That's my general opinion. Whereas if there's missing documentation, missing paperwork, and there's questions around this and that, then there's like, that causes the delay. So I mean, so all that late night paid off.
Yeah, I think that the things that take the most time, I would say, is waiting for the teacher council's approval, and then of course with the RQA, we waited quite a bit. I actually got my RQA the week before we flew. So I was very lucky with that.
Okay.
But luckily the whole process was already in.
Yep. Oh, cool. And so you've been living in New Zealand now for over a month?
Yes.
Auckland specifically?
Yes.
What are your thoughts so far?
Coming from a small town in South Africa, it was quite an adjustment.
Okay.
Because
Auckland's
it's the
big.
hustle and bustle and traffic. I'm not used to traffic.
Right.
I'm used to just jumping in my car and 2 minutes later I'm somewhere where I want to be.
Yeah, yeah.
So the adjustment of the traffic was a bit hectic for us, but there are so many positives that it just outweighs the whole traffic problem. The positiveness of the people, everybody was just willing to help. I even had people from Junior Junction, they're like, oh, just come and stay with us until you find a rental. You know, they wanted to help us. But, housing is expensive. It is.
You mean to rent or to buy?
To rent.
To rent, yeah.
Yeah, we haven't looked at the buying yet. We've just gone into the rental.
Well, it probably isn't, wouldn't be any cheaper.
Yeah.
House prices in Auckland is pretty steep.
But yeah, in the end, it'll be better to rather pay off a bond than to pay somebody else's rent all the time. We did battle to find the right house to fit our children in the right area. Yeah. Maybe I'm a bit fussy.
Yes.
But, you know, you've got to look at the well-being of the entire family, just not just one person. So it did take us quite a while. We arrived on the 17th of January. Mm-hmm. And we only moved into our rental, it was the first week of February.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it was the 6th or the 7th of February. Yeah. And that was after quite a lot of viewings. Yeah. But, the positives of the people, the helpfulness, the genuineness of the people. Then, of course, the healthcare. We had our little one get sick within a week of us being here. And I was able to be helped, even though I wasn't registered yet with the doctor, with medication and everything. So that just was a new thing to us. So that a very good positive. Availability of stuff here. A lot of people say, oh, bring this with you and bring that with you. You don't need to. There's a lot available here and better products. So,
such as?
Everybody moaned about the spices, that they're not strong enough here.
Okay.
But maybe I'm just, the way I cook, I find that the spices are fine.
Okay.
A lot of people say to me, beauty care products and those type of things might be a bit pricey, but there's better quality here. Right. Definitely better quality here.
Tarryn, when I talk to a lot of teachers, one of their main concerns is, I feel like I don't know if I'll be accepted at the center once I start working because I'm a teacher from another country. So it's sounding like your experience was quite the opposite of that, right? You felt well accepted, and can you tell a little bit about that?
Well, I mean, I read a lot of posts on Facebook about how you don't easily get accepted, and they asked out the South Africans, and they don't really want us here, but I've had the total opposite. I really have had the total opposite. There's a lot of cultural things that you've got to learn. So I've learned quite a bit, which that might cause a little bit of ousting if you don't want to change and follow other people's course. Mm-hmm. But when I walked into the centre, you could see that they were willing to allow other people in. And I think that's made the process a hell of a lot easier.
Well, in Auckland, you'll find that it is multicultural. There are a lot of different races, and with that, a lot of cultural backgrounds. And so you'll probably find that in Auckland, there are a lot of people who are very accepting. Yeah. But you touched on cultural differences, and that it's important to sort of adapt and adjust. Can you give an example of what that looks like in terms of, you know, where you've come from, what you're used to, and coming over here, what kind of cultural differences did you encounter, and what kind of changes did you have to make?
Well, with our culture, where we came from, South Africa, when you serve a person, you can just serve it. You start eating, you carry on. With in the centre itself, we had to learn the different things of everybody's seated, everybody's hands are washed. You do not serve the food before everybody is ready to be served. You don't serve over somebody's head, for example. You serve around them. So when you're praying, everybody should be seated. Those type of cultural things. And it's actually, now that I've learned it, I realize that actually it's more respect than anything else. And another thing is the shoes. I mean, I'm loving it, not having to wear shoes.
Okay.
Yes, so especially with our babies' rooms and that, we do kick our shoes off quite often. So,
before you enter the room.
Yes, yeah. So that is also, respect for the person's home and respect for their carpets and their cleanliness. So I found that a lot with the house when we were looking for houses.
Take off shoes.
The best thing is wear something that you can just slip off.
You don't be tying your shoelace all the time, right?
We had 5 viewings in one day, and my husband decided to wear tackies that day. So it was unlacing, take off, put on, lace up, next house. Yeah. So so those type of those things that we had to adjust to. I would say inviting the children to do something instead of forcing them to do something. You don't say, go outside and play. If the child is here, what are we doing here? What can we do here? So the motivation with the children is just totally different to, the formal, go sit down at your table, today we're learning this. Whereas even with my oldest, I can see they are allowed to, you are interested in reading, come, let's do this to enhance your reading. Or you like maths, let's play with numbers. So it's taking the children's knowledge and they're building on that. So everything with the different developmental levels. Oh, it's lovely. I'm loving it.
Right. No, cool. So it's there are differences, but in New Zealand, I suppose what those differences are led predominantly by the respect for the child.
Yes.
Yep. Okay, cool. And what would you tell other South Africans about New Zealand? Those looking to make the move.
Yeah, they're not making a mistake. They're definitely not making a mistake. We need South Africans. We need teachers. We need, So it's a friendly country.
Yeah.
They are going to be accepted. It is a big move. It really is a big move, especially when you are leaving family behind. And I think that was made it very difficult for us. Both myself and my husband, we've left our parents and our siblings left in South Africa. So will we go back? Maybe, just to visit. But we definitely will be back to New Zealand.
Not to stay.
No.
Same. I totally get what you mean by that as well. And probably Manfredo as well. So I come from Malaysia. I was born there. Making the move over here permanently, to live here permanently, it is a big thing. It wasn't so big for me because I came here for university. With the intent of maybe see how it goes. Maybe I'll get a job here, maybe I won't after uni, and if I don't, then I'll just go back to Malaysia to find a job. But the 4 years being here for my university, and then I got a job immediately after, and I just kept on staying. It didn't really strike me as like when I moved over here, like New Zealand's just going to be it for you. My parents, on the other hand, it was probably a big decision for them because in my second year of university, they decided to move here. For good. So they had to make the decision of, so they'll have to leave their family and friends, their brothers and sisters and their parents as well, for the family, to be closer with me. And my sister was also about to start her university as well, and they thought that New Zealand would be a better place in terms of the future for the family. And it means leaving people behind, and that's a tough decision, starting over again, in somewhere foreign. But no, I don't think they have looked back. I think they have before I made the right decision to stay on here.
Yeah, I think a lot of times people, you've got to have the right motives. What is motivating you? What made you start thinking about immigrating? Our thoughts were the safety and the future of our children.
Yeah. Those two main things.
Yes. And I mean, it's so nice to just be able to go and have a walk at night, go and play in the parks in the afternoons, be able to walk in the mall and see your child just in front of you and not having to, come back here, hold my hand, strap you to a trolley, or the freedom of the children. So we really did have to take into consideration the future of our children. That was the main thing as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, I kind of had the same experience. I came with my family, with 2 children, and safety was one of the key elements for me when I decided to come to New Zealand. But Tarryn, you mentioned about some of the expectations that you had over New Zealand, but can you tell me what were the fears that you had over the move? What were the things you were concerned about before the move when you were doing the preparation back home? And how did it turn out once you got here?
Well, with a lot of tears in that, especially leaving my mother and father behind. We are a very close-knit family. 32 years. I've always stayed in the same town as them. So emotionally wise, that was quite hectic for me to leave my parents. My husband's side, he was already away from his parents, so I would say it's not as bad for him. He did university away from his parents. He also was in America at one stage, so he is known to be away from his parents. It is an emotional roller coaster. But then you've got to every time just think back to saying, why am I doing it?
I mean, it's amazing how much the safety factor plays in.
For sure.
I would say that also weighed quite heavily for my parents as well. What is normal back where I come from is very different from what's normal over here. You get certain parts. You don't want to be walking there at night, or to even be driving in certain parts, and you don't really get that over here, know. So it's interesting how what's normal in one country is very different from what's normal in another, and safety. You don't want. Like for me as well, like the thought that come into my mind, like, do I want my little girl to grow up in Malaysia, to know who her grandparents are and her cousins, the extended family, and to know, but no, I don't want her to grow up in an environment where it's normal to not go on public transport past certain hours and to not go into certain suburbs any time of the day and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Not stopping red lights. It's such a bad habit that we end up having back home sometimes, right? Unfortunately.
Yeah. I must admit that the public transport is very nice. We actually used it this morning, so we
you took
use
the bus or the
train.
The train, yeah.
Yeah. No, we got our hop cards and that, so we do a lot of hopping. It's amazing how everything is so accessible. Even we do have 2 cars. We just decided that it would be a lot more easier for 2 cars because living 5 k's away from where I work, it's not logic to wait for a bus. So I did recently buy myself a car.
Yeah.
And it was affordable. The cars here are affordable.
No, they are.
Something that I could never afford to buy in South Africa, I managed to buy here for myself. So
no, same. I find that interesting. I don't know why. Like back in Malaysia, I don't know. Maybe it's a tax component that makes it really expensive. Maybe it's the low currency rate as well, and when you import cars and you're sort of converting it from their country of origin, so the conversion rates works to your disadvantage, and the taxes as well make owning a car quite prohibitive back in Malaysia. But being here, it's actually very cheap.
Yeah.
My first car when I got at uni was $500, and it lasted me a good while. Yeah, a good while. It was an old car. It done quite a bit of mileage, but it didn't really cause me much problems, and it got me most through uni.
Yeah.
Most of uni.
Yeah. No, well, that's what I say. I mean, if you don't have the money to come and buy a car straight away, at least, I mean, you can just use the bus services. And it's at this stage, we haven't had a problem. We found it very reliable. Right. We've never really been late for anything when we've been using the trains and the buses.
Yeah. Tarryn, you live of course, in Auckland, right? And how do you find Auckland in general? I mean, as far as entertainment for your children. I mean, you touched the traffic aspect of it, but what do you think are the positive aspects, the positive things that Auckland has to offer for families, for people moving from overseas?
Parks everywhere. And beautiful, well-maintained. We never have to walk through long grass to get to a park or litter, those type of things. My kids ask us every day, can we go to the park? You know, can we go to the one with the spider web, or can we go to the one with the twirly whirl? They're getting to know the different parks, and they're all in walking distance. So you don't have to get in your car and drive to the things. So we put them in the pram, one in the pram and one walks, and off we go to the parks. And we haven't had a bad experience where people are drinking in public or smoking under your nose or something like that, especially in the parks. The entertainment for the children on the beaches as well. Down at Missions Bay, they often have those water, blow up, like almost like jumping castle type of things on the water. The kids love it. They have an absolute ball. There's always, I find that family orientated, Auckland is amazing. They always got something on the weekends for children and families.
That's actually quite true. If you go on Facebook and you have a look at the events that's happening in Auckland, almost every weekend there'll be a couple that you can choose from.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Yep.
There's a lot of movies in the park as well, right? There's always something interesting happening.
Yeah, I know. There's always something interesting. Yeah.
Yep. And in terms of so Manfredo touched on like entertainment and things for kids to do. How do you find the education for the children? Like, what are your thoughts on that? So, because you've got an older kid who's in primary, and you've got a younger one who's in the early childhood center together with you. And in general, what are your general thoughts on how is the education system like for your children?
I think it's very positive. What I've seen with the development of my child in the last 5-6 weeks, he's doing so well. We all are helping him where we can, but I can clearly see that from South African's educational system to here, even though that he's skipped a year, going from grade R to year 2, he's coping well because he's got a support system here at the school.
Yeah. I think one thing I would say compared to Malaysia is in New Zealand here, it's very child-led. So they want to encourage the children to find their interest and try to nurture it.
Yes.
Whereas in Malaysia, I suppose because the class size is just a lot bigger as well, the ratio of number of students to teachers is really high. You can't really do that. So they kind of force the children into a particular curriculum and go, this is what we need to do today, and everyone needs to jump through all of this and get through the door, so that next year the other teacher will do that and make sure that we've covered this syllabus and get them through the door for the next so on. Whereas over here, I suppose because the class sizes are smaller, they can afford to entertain the child in what their interest is and to help develop it.
Yeah. What I have seen now with my eldest is that they have teachers for specific things. So it's not just one teacher teaching 5 different areas and touching base on it. You've got your literacy teacher. She is all clued up with the literacy. You've got your maths teacher and all clued up with just maths. Then you have your music, just music. You've got your physical education, just that. So it's not one teacher that's got a vast knowledge.
That looks after multiple subjects.
Yes. It's going into, this is what this child should be learning. Let's try and get him there. But not pushing them in the wrong direction. And not leaving them behind either.
And something that I find quite interesting, because I do have one child who just left primary and have another one in primary, and is that they treat your child individually, right?
Yeah.
So your child might be in one very advanced level in math, for example, but might be a little bit behind in literacy. So they would deal with the different subjects in different ways, which is quite positive.
For sure. And they don't let the child actually know that. They will not tell your child, oh, you're in a lower level than what the rest of your friends are. They will say, okay, you are going to this reading group, and he is unaware that he is maybe on a year 1 level where his friends are on a year 2 level. So it's not made aware to the child themselves. So you don't have this child doubting himself all the time. So it's very positive.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. No, thanks a lot for this. You have another question?
I was just going to ask, because you have one child who is in staying at the same EC center where you're working now, right?
Yes.
So I mean, how the experience has been of having your child in the same center where you're now teaching? I mean, it's been positive. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
It is at the moment very positive. He's loving school. I think he wants to be there more than he wants to be at home.
That's always a positive sign.
Yes.
Yeah.
Loves his teachers as if he loves his family as well. So literally it feels like he's got a family away from home. It was difficult in the beginning because, of course, he was taken away from his gran who looked after him for 2 years. And then into a new country and new people, new cultures, new languages. So the first week that he was there, he didn't adjust very well. So we kept him there again, and it's gone much better now. Now he's doing very, very well. I think as a teacher being just in the classroom next door, one has to distance yourself a little bit. Yes, you do hear when your child's name gets called every now and again, but at least you know he's in very good hands. He comes and he peeps in every now and again into the classroom. So
see what mommy is doing.
Just sees if mommy's still there and if mommy's still coping, maybe a love or a hug or a kiss, just his reassurance. So it is difficult as a parent. You have to think of, am I now the parent or am I now the teacher? And I did explain to him that, I'm the teacher of the babies. I've got to look after the babies now, and that he has got his own teachers in his own class and they are looking after him. And as soon as he understood that, it just seemed to go so much better. Yeah.
And how supportive do you think the center manager was with you in that process when you were struggling in the beginning? Or?
I went and I spoke to the center manager about it, and being a breastfed baby, he was still very much attached to me. And she managed to talk me through it and say, let's just see day by day. Let's take day by day and see how it goes. And, if I had to have just given up on the spur of the moment, he would have probably done it at each center. But because we persevered it and we didn't allow him to be...
Give it sufficient time.
So, definitely efficient time for them. So... definitely the center manager has been very, very supportive, and not just with me. I see it overall with all the children. Yeah.
No. It's about time to wrap up. I just want to ask one last question, and that is, what do you miss about South Africa now that you've been here?
Spur. Spur is a restaurant.
You do know that they have one here, though?
No, where?
Yeah. Albany. Spur, Albany.
Okay, we will go exploring.
I'll check it out. I'll find the address for you. But they were in the papers last year for opening up a branch here, a franchise or a branch. Yeah.
Yeah,
so because you miss Perth.
Going out for a egg and bacon, you know, that's what we used to do on the weekends. It was our treat to go out on the weekends, just have a nice egg and bacon, let the children play in the play areas. Now it's mostly McDonald's here, or Burger King, those type of places.
There's another one more place which is also a South African restaurant which I actually really like, but it's in the shore, in North Shore as well. So Spurs is in North Shore, and this other one which I forgot its name now. When I find it, I'll give it to you. But I really like that place. Really good food they serve.
Yeah. I'm definitely finding that we spending more time at home and making more homesome meals and those type of things, which is probably much better. And then the main thing that I say is missing is our family. The family time, the getting togethers, having a braai, or maybe even a drink together. You know, it's the family. The rest, I'm not missing anything.
I mean, do any of your extended family members have any thoughts of coming to New Zealand?
My brother-in-law is very eager to come and visit. So, but I think if he comes and visits, especially if it's in the winter, and he is mad about skiing, he travels everywhere to ski.
Right.
So we're going to try and plan it that he comes in the winter, and then he can go and ski while we're working. Maybe we might even convince him. But I think he is very keen. And then my sister-in-law living in the Kalahari. They've got 3 kids, so they're also looking at considering the safety and the future of their children as well. So I think yes, definitely. I mean, if I could pack my mom in a bag and my dad, I think I would bring them over immediately. But they've also got responsibilities and jobs and businesses that they've got to handle over there. So, but family is definitely
It's a great thing that we have WhatsApp and some other apps today that really help with the communication, right? At least we get to see them face to face. I mean, not face to face, but through the screen.
I video call my mom every day. Right. My dad, not so much because of him and the time difference. But definitely, I chat to my mom every day. And if we do miss a day, it feels like, oh goodness, you know, what have we done? So no, WhatsApp video calls definitely makes it. And I mean, Skype's also quite a popular one as well. So, and another positive thing, data. Auckland doesn't steal your data. You come here.
Is it cheaper?
I would say so. Yes, I would say so. Because when we arrived here, we got the New Zealand. We just got the what do you call it? Traveller's SIM card. At the airport. And it cost us $50. And bought one for me, one for my husband. And it came with unlimited calls and unlimited text, and I think it was 10 gigs of data. And it lasts for 2 months. And our 2 months is now end of this week. I think the 17th it's finished. I've still got 8 gigs of data.
So you only used 2?
I only used 2 gigs of data in 2 months.
But you used it for WhatsApp calls?
WhatsApp calls at work. If we have our lunch breaks and that, we do our Facebooking and watching of videos and that during our lunch breaks. So, and I mean, I can't believe it that, you know, in 2 months I didn't even use 2 gigs. So, you know, you go to the places here and you say, no, you need to upgrade now to the extended contract so that you don't lose your number. And they're like, no, but you won't lose your number. But you are going to lose this 8 gigs of data, so use it quickly. I'm like, what am I going to use it on? So definitely, I mean, the cell services are excellent here. And the coverage and the video calls from here is just, everything is so much quicker.
Awesome. Oh, cool. Hey, thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate it. No, you've been great, and really can't thank you enough for everything. So yeah.
No, thank you to you guys as well. I wouldn't be here without you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay.